Good morning. It is 9:10 a.m. on Thursday, March 21st, 2019. I'm Christiana Ellis and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. So, last night on So Many Levels, we had a little bit of a change up. I had a big story moment planned for the main campaign, but then at the last minute, one of our players wasn't able to join, which is fine. But because I didn't want that character to miss out on that big story moment, I decided that at the last minute we would do instead a battle royale where the players who were available would, in the spirit of good fun and competition, all fight each other PvP until one remained, and that's what we did, and it was pretty exciting. I feel like I'm pretty happy with how it went, all things considered. All things considered, being that I hadn't really had any time to plan that. Made the decision in the space of about half an hour. So I kind of just picked a map that they could be on, and then just off the top of my head pulled up some random tables that could be magic items that people might find, and ways to keep everyone from just hiding in little corners. I think that in hindsight, there were a couple of things that I might do differently. Like, I'm not beating myself up about it because it was kind of an experiment, but in learning from the experiment, one of the things that I would have done, so as things progressed and the combat was still not, getting that heated, I wanted to have everyone, accelerate things. And so taking a cue from, games like Fortnite and other Battle Royale games, a force field began to move in from the sides of the map to force everybody together. And also, once people started to be taken out, I gave them the opportunity on their previous turn to press a button on a little remote control and send a fireball at whichever player they wanted. But I think in hindsight, that's maybe a little too much power for the people who are, just spectating at that point, because there's always going to be a tendency for them to want to get revenge on whoever maybe just took them out. But then also the fireball is so big that, like, if people are in a cluster, then there's going to, people are in a cluster. So welcome everyone, and Kaylin Thompson asks, Space KC3, I appreciate your enthusiasm. As things stand right now, I do not have plans for Space KC Season 3, and I only say it like that just because I have been asked before. I appreciate your enthusiasm, I really do, but that's kind of not what I'm working on right now. Anyway, to complete the thought about the Battle Royale, now I've lost my train of thought. Yeah, I think the fireball is too big, because if whoever they want to target, there's likely to be more people get hit by it. It did certainly succeed in accelerating the combat. That got everything moving quickly, so that was definitely good, and I think it was pretty good. And as far as I can tell, didn't have any hurt feelings resulting from from any of that. So it went pretty well, all things considered. So the other update that I have today is that my brother had, he and his wife had their first baby earlier this week, as I've previously discussed, but hadn't yet gotten the name. And all of the update emails were just saying baby, baby. And that was a little bit surprising to me, that the suspense was being drawn out that way. But I think I think they wanted to get through some of the stress of the first couple of days. There were some minor complications that were not necessarily overly serious, except for just, that required a little bit of an additional stay in the hospital just to manage them, as opposed to being just free to head out into the world so far. But that seems like those concerns have passed. So the baby name is apparently Liliana Sophia Ellis. That's my new niece, and I'm going to be flying to Colorado tomorrow evening to spend the weekend with family and meet my new niece, and so I'm very excited about that. And so I'll go ahead and leave it there, and I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.